Have you ever really stopped to think about what a verb does? We all learn their action words, right? But it turns out there's so much more than that. They're actually like these little bits of code hidden in our sentences that secretly tell our brains the entire shape of an action, its beginning, its middle, and its end. So let's pull back the curtain and take a look at this hidden world.
Okay, check out these two sentences. On the surface, they look almost the same. John was singing, and John was singing a song. Just two extra words, no big deal. But linguistically speaking, these describe two totally different kinds of situations. Can you almost feel it? One sounds like it could just go on, while the other feels like it's heading toward a finish line.
So what is the real difference here? How can adding a song totally change the very nature of what's happening? Well, that's the puzzle we're going to solve today. And it turns out our language has this incredible hidden architecture that explains it all perfectly. To crack this code, linguists have a framework they call lexical aspect. Now, don't let the fancy name fool you. Just think of it like the DNA of a verb. It's built from three really simple core features that combine to create literally every action or state you can possibly imagine. First up is duration. And this one's pretty simple. Does the action take time to unfold, like, say, singing or running? Or does it happen in a flash, like a cough or a knock? This is basically the difference between a process that stretches out and an event that's over in a blink. Next, we have telecity. And honestly, this one is a total game changer. It asks a simple question. Does the action have a natural, built-in finish line? Think about making a chair. The action has a clear goal, right? A finished chair. Once the chair's done, you can't make it anymore. But an action like singing, that's what we call a telic. It doesn't have an endpoint baked in. You can just, stop whenever you feel like it. And our final building block is dynamicity. This asks, does the situation involve change and need some energy to keep it going, like running? Or is it a state that just is, something that doesn't take any effort to maintain, like knowing the answer? It's really the difference between an active process and just a passive state of being.
So let's put that all together real quick. We've got our three core pairs. First, is it durative or punctual? Does it last over time or happen in an instant? Second, is it telic or atelic? Does it have a finish line or not? And third, is it dynamic or stative? Does it involve energy and change, or is it just a stable condition? These three choices are the fundamental components we use to build everything.
Okay, so here's where it gets really cool. These three features don't just combine in any old random way. They actually lock together in four very specific combinations to create the four basic categories of situations our language can describe. And here it is. This is the master blueprint. You can see how these four situation types, achievements, accomplishments, activities, and states, each get their own unique recipe, their own combination of those features we just talked about. Let's break down each one.
So first up, we have achievements. Think of these as those lightning-fast moments where something is completed. So if you look at the recipe, there are punctual, telic, and dynamic. That means they happen in a single instant, they mark a definite finish line, and they are in action. A great example is winning the race. You don't spend an hour winning. The moment you cross that finish line, bam, it's over. A single, instantaneous achievement. Now let's look at activities, which in a lot of ways are the complete opposite of achievements. Their recipe is durative, atelic, and dynamic. So they happen over time, they have no built-in finish line, and they take energy. When you run or drive a car, you're just in a process. It could, in theory, go on forever. There's no end point until you decide to stop. Next up are accomplishments, and this is where it gets really interesting, because these are kind of like a hybrid of the two we just saw. They are durative and dynamic, just like an activity. They take time, they take energy, but they're also telic, like an achievement. They have a clear goal in mind. Building a house is the perfect example. It's a long process, but the entire process is aimed at one specific endpoint, a finished house. And that brings us to our fourth and final category, states. So a state is durative and atelic. It lasts for a while and has no endpoint. But the key ingredient here is that it's stative. It's a condition that just exists over time, and it takes zero energy to maintain. I mean, think about it. You don't actively do anything to know the answer. You just know it. It's a continuous, unchanging condition. Okay, so let's circle all the way back to our original puzzle. How does a verb like read just magically change its type? Well,
This is where a cool idea called compositional meaning comes into play. The meaning isn't just locked inside the verb, it's built from the entire phrase. And here's the magic trick. You start with the verb reading. On its own, that's an atelic activity. Mary could read forever. But then you add something with a natural endpoint, like a book. A book has a first page and a last page. And just like that, the whole phrase reading a book becomes a telic accomplishment. We've literally created a finish line out of thin air.
So now that we have the tools, let's put them to the test. We can actually take pretty much any sentence now and decode the precise nature of the action that it's describing.
Let's try it with this famous historical sentence. The key action here is wrapped up in one powerful verb, refused. So, using our new framework, what kind of situation is this?
Okay, let's break it down. Was the refusal instantaneous? Yes, it's a single moment of decision, so it's punctual. Did it have a definite endpoint? Yep, the act of refusal is a complete thing, so it's telic. And was it an action, not just a state of being? Absolutely, it's dynamic. So, punctual, telic, dynamic, that makes it a classic achievement. See, the system works.
So here's the big takeaway. Lexical aspect isn't just some dusty old grammar rule. It's the invisible software running in the background of everything we say. It allows us to communicate these incredibly precise details about how actions unfold in time. It's literally how we use words to shape reality.
And that's what's so wild. This code is running constantly in every sentence you speak, read, or write. So now that you can see it, what other secrets are your verbs hiding from you? Right there in plain sight.